Hey guys, how's it going? Justin Melson with Happy Fox Productions, and today we're going to be talking about the Sigma 18-35 f1.8 art lens from Sigma. And I'm going to make this a pretty quick video. From a videography and filmmaking perspective, not as so much photography. We're going to be talking about the goods and the bads, what I like about it, and why I'd recommend it for you if you're on the fence. And so with that said, all the footage and pictures that you're going to see is B-roll on this video is taken by me with this lens. In fact, this shot that you're seeing of me right now is actually shot on the 18-35 1.8. I think it's at 35mm 1.8 on the Blackmagic Ursa Mini. So if you like how the shot looks, shot on the Sigma. That's why I'm not holding it right now. But we'll just go into the pros and cons and final thoughts. So first off, pros of this lens, obviously 18mm 1.8, 35mm 1.8. It works as a great low light lens all across the board. I shoot weddings with this. I've shot a ton of stuff with this. Even on the Blackmagic cameras that are, you know, quote unquote, not good low light cameras, with this lens, they kind of stand a chance. They're pretty good. If you're shooting at 18mm at 1.8, you're still getting kind of shallow depth of field with the wide angle lens, which just makes your shots look really good. Like this shot with my friend Alicia is a wide angle shot, but I shot it at 1.8 and there's still some shallow depth of field, which just makes it look overall pleasant, which I love with this lens because a lot of wide angle lenses are at a f2.8 or an f4, etc. This one, 1.8. I'd say one of the cons is there's no image stabilization. Granted, for cinema, some people might not care because no cinema lenses have image stabilization. If you're shooting on a gimbal or a Steadicam or whatever, it doesn't matter. But if you're run and gun handheld, the no IS can be a buzzkill. But over the last 4 years of using this lens, not having image stabilization hasn't really hurt me that much. And if you're using an A7S Mark II, the in-camera internal stabilization almost does it for you, which works out perfectly.
Do you fly here often, or you don't really talk much, do you, Phantom? You gotta learn to talk to people. I didn't talk to anyone in high school or college, and look at me. No friends, no family. Playing pool by myself, talking to a quadcopter. So unless you want to be like me, then I suggest you learn to speak up for yourself.
The other thing is the minimum focus distance. I don't know the exact number, but you can get pretty close, not macro lens close, but you can get pretty close to someone, like extreme close-ups of their eyes, but extreme focus on their eyelashes. This lens does it really well, especially at f1.8, it looks really good. The lens isn't extremely sharp. That is a downfall. It's not the sharpest lens out there. Maybe like your average Canon L lens or a little bit less. Once you move to an f4 and higher, maybe like a f7.3 or an f11, the lens is pretty tack sharp, like most lenses. But once you start getting to the 2.8 and lower to like a 1.8, it's not the sharpest lens, just being completely honest. It isn't the sharpest lens, but for me, I just take advantage of the more resolution when I'm shooting on the Blackmagic Ursa Mini. The extra resolution kind of covers up for the fact that it's not that sharp, and then I throw on unsharp mask, etc., and it kind of works out. So that's not the worst con, and plus, who wants a lens that shows like every single pore? If you're a photographer, yeah, that's a really big downfall, but for a videographer, just because it's not the sharpest lens doesn't make it a bad lens. But I would say a con for this lens, and maybe this is just my model, this is just maybe the lens that I got because I bought mine used, is that the autofocus isn't that accurate. Whenever I autofocus on this lens, it's always losing focus by like a millimeter or by a hair or an inch. It's always missing focus. Maybe I'm just a terrible photographer, or it could just be my old camera because I shoot on a Canon T2i, really old. But anytime I use this camera, this lens, the autofocus is just not that good. But again, it could just be my lens. I might need to calibrate it, I don't know, but that's just my experience with it. But all in all, overall thoughts, I only use 2 lenses. Well, I have a few lenses, but I only use 2. my Sigma 18-35 1.8, and my Canon 70-200 F4 IS Mark II. Those two lenses alone take care of everything I need. And sometimes I'll use my Canon 50s or whatever, but this lens is such a great lens. There's been times I've taken this on trips when I'm shooting for like Fox Sports or NBC or whoever. I literally just take this lens, and this is the only lens I need. It's a wide, it's a medium, it's not a tight lens, but and then you can crop your sensor and get tighter. You can do so much with this lens. I'd highly recommend it. This has been my 95% of the time I use this lens over the last 5 years. And Sigma's not endorsing this video. In fact, I don't think people even make reviews of this lens anymore. I'm just saying, honestly, all the footage that you guys have seen in this video so far is shot with this lens. I love this lens so much, which is why I'm making the video. So if anything, this isn't even a review, it's an endorsement video. but it's the truth. If you're looking for a solid lens that's affordable, you can probably get this lens used for $500 now, new for $800. Go for this one. It is amazing. I know there's other lenses like the Canon 24-70, f4, f2.8. Those lenses will run you a lot more. For $800 brand new, this is one of the best lenses you will ever own, not including cinema lenses. I'd love a pair of Cooke anamorphics, but we're not talking those. Just for your average photographer, filmmaking glass, for Canon mounts or Sony mounts or whatever it is, your most tangible glass, I would definitely say the Sigma 18-35 1.8 is one of the best lenses you will ever own. And couple that with maybe the 50-100 1.8 from Sigma, which I've never used yet, but people say it's really good. Again, there's no image stabilization on that one. So, and especially when you're shooting at 100mm, that might be a bit of an issue. But with this lens, highly recommend it. Main con, no image stabilization, not the biggest deal, and it's not the sharpest lens, and the autofocus, it might be me, isn't great. But other than that, one of the best lenses you could ever get. So anyways guys, I hope this video was useful. I know I pretty much just complimented the lens the whole video, but it's what my personal thoughts are. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Justin Melson with Happy Fox Productions, and I'll see you guys next time.